Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be looking at our Week 8 potential upset alert games. There's a couple games that stood out to me where the favorite team needs to be on upset alert during Week 8. I'm not saying that these teams are going to lose, but they need to be potentially prepared and they need to be taking their opponent very serious. And make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments on these games or anything else, drop them below and I will respond. Every week we go over every single college football game. We also do the same thing for every NFL game as well. We do the money lines, the spreads, and the over-unders. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you can follow along with us. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Like I said, we're looking at our upset alert games for Week 8 of the 2024 college football season. Let's go ahead and get started. The very first one that stood out to me is our 12 p.m. Saturday game at 12 p.m. on ABC. Number 6, Miami, 6-0 versus 4-2 Louisville Cardinals. This is a really decent team. This is two good squads. This is two squads with a history, both fighting over the Howard Schnellenberger Trophy, that golden set of shoes. Right now, Miami is a slight favorite. 55.3% chance to win this game. They are 4.5-point favorites. The over-under here is 61.5. But Miami, so both teams are rested. Miami's coming off the bye. Miami has yet to win coming off of a bye week under Mario Cristobal. They have a bye week curse right now. They have two sloppy games the last two games that they played. Virginia Tech, Cal, they almost lost the game. Yes, they pulled it out, but since they've gotten into ACC conference play, since the competition has taken a step up, Miami's defense has definitely taken a step back, and they've gotten some slow starts, but they're still rolling. Right now, they average 47.7 points a game. They throw for 410.7. They run for 183.8, and their defense is giving up 18.8 points a game. They have a top 10 offense. They have a top 30 defense. They're top 10 in the least amount of sacks given up, but their defense is top 10 in sacks and quarterback pressures, and they're only giving up 89.7 yards on the ground. It is hard to run on them. They have Cameron Ward. He has 21 passing touchdowns, 4 picks, closing in on 2,300 yards. They have Martinez, Fletcher, Lyle, Restrepo, Horton, George, Riley, Arroyo, up and down the field weapons. Looking at Louisville, very balanced team. So Tyler Shaw having a great season so far. Right now they average 36.2. They pass for 303.5. They run for 170.5. They also are almost averaging 500 points a game. Miami's averaging 500 yards per game. Miami's averaging 600 yards a game, and they have a really good defense too. They're only giving up 19.7 points per game. The biggest issue for Louisville to me is they have the 70th ranked pass defense versus a Miami team that averages 411 passing yards. Cameron Ward is going to have open guys. He just has to make sure that he has time to find them and that he doesn't feel too much pressure and get flushed out of that pocket too early. But they have Shaw, they have Brown, they have Brooks. They can run it, they can throw it. Louisville makes for a very good opponent. Miami needs to be prepared for the upset. But I ultimately have Miami pulling this one out, winning this one in the fourth quarter with fourth quarter heroics from Ward. They take it 33-27. The next game we're looking at is one of our games of the weekend at 3:30 on ABC. Number 7, Alabama, 5-1 versus number 11, Tennessee, 5-1. This is going to be a close game. Right now, Bama has a 53.8% chance to win this game. They are 3-point favorites. The over-under here is 56.5. Alabama, their last couple games since the Georgia win has been pretty sloppy. Their defense played awful the Georgia game. Then they followed that up with an awful performance versus Vanderbilt, where they got dominated on both lines of scrimmage. And then they followed that up with another bad performance versus the Gamecocks. That's back-to-back 3 weeks where they have not played up to par. At some point, you assume that they have to rebound, but we're still waiting for that to happen. Right now, they come in, they're averaging 41.7 points a game. That's great. They throw for 279.7. They run for 179.2. But their defense is un-Saban-like. They're not getting pressure. They're giving up 20.8 points a game. That's not good enough, especially for SEC play. Right now, Tennessee, they also have a top 10 offense. They're averaging 42.2 points a game. But since they've gotten into SEC play, they're doing nothing scoring-wise. They have yet to score over 25 points in conference play. They're definitely going to have to do that to beat Bama. They throw for 247.2. They run for 246.2. One of the most balanced offenses in the country, averaging 500 yards per game. And their defense is top 10, giving up 10.7 points a game. Only 79.7 rushing yards given up. That is elite. And they're top 10 in the nation right now in sacks. Looking at Bama, to me, they rely too much on Milroe. He's closing in on 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. Way too many quarterback draws. He's running too much. They need to develop a run game. Right now, their leading rusher is Miller. He has 360 yards. He's on pace for 720 yards. That is not good enough for SEC play. Someone has to step up. They need a 1,000-yard back, but they do have Ryan Williams. Look for another massive catch this weekend. Tennessee, they are loaded. Nico has to perform better under pressure. Since he's been pressured in the SEC play, he's definitely taken a step back. But we know that the intangibles are there. They have Sampson having a great season running the ball. They have Thornton Jr., Squirrel White. They have the better playmakers as of right now. They have Josh Heupel calling plays. Great play caller. This game could go either way. It's a 50-50. I have Bama ultimately pulling it out closely, winning this one 30-28. But either way, this game is going to be fun. Bama better take Tennessee serious. Both teams have things to work on. If either team loses, that's their second conference loss, and that potentially places you out of the running for the SEC championship. There's a lot riding on this game, but I could easily see a path where Tennessee also wins this one and they get the upset. The next game we are looking at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Number 12, Notre Dame 5-1 versus Georgia Tech 5-2. Notre Dame is the better team, but Georgia Tech is a very good team, and the spread here is big. Notre Dame 12.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 48.5. Right now, Notre Dame's biggest issue is still Riley Leonard cannot throw the ball. I said that guy's whole career. He's a 55% completion guy for his career. They average 35.2. They pass for 193.7. They run for 216.5, but a top 10 defense under Al Golden here. They're only giving up 11.7 points per game. They have one of the best offensive play callers. They have Den Brock. Word of the wise to him, keep the ball on the ground, suck up clock. You have Leonard running the ball. You have Love. Suck up clock, keep the ball on the ground. Use your line of scrimmage. Rely on your defense. For Georgia Tech, very balanced team. Right now, they average 32.9. They pass for 240.3. They run for 204.4. Very multiple offense, and they're only giving up 21.4 points a game. They have the leading ACC touchdown guy, Haynes King, closing in on 600 yards. And then they have Jamal Haynes running the ball, closing in on 600 yards. They have Rutherford catching the ball, closing in on 600 yards. There's the potential upset here because Georgia Tech is not a bad team. They can pull this game out. They can run it. They can throw it. They play solid defense. This game is not in Notre Dame. But I have Notre Dame's defense ultimately getting a turnover when they need it in the fourth quarter. They win this one in a close one, 30-24. The next one we're looking at 3:30 on CBS, we have the defending champs, number 24, Michigan 4-2, versus 5-1, the Fighting Illini, number 22. Whoever loses this one is getting thrown out of the top 25. Michigan, 59.6% chance to win this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under here is 43.5. Michigan has three quarterbacks, Orji, Warren, Hudnall. They've been playing all three of them. Really doesn't matter. Neither of them are very good, but only two of them can actually throw a spiral. But we don't really know who we will see at the quarterback position. But that's their weakness, is being able to pass the ball. They only average 23.5. That is atrocious. They only throw for 122. That's really bad. They do run for 191.3, and their defense is giving up 22.3. They have Mullings. They have Edwards. They can run the ball, but they need some help from the passing game. They have Loveland, the best tight end in the nation, but they have no one who can consistently get him the ball. For the Fighting Illini, this is a Brett Bielema team. They run almost the same offense as Michigan, but they actually have a quarterback. They have Altmaier closing on 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. They average 31. They only give up 20. They have Altmaier. They have Fegan. They have Bryant. They have a pretty decent team. Both teams want to win the line of scrimmage battle. I have upset here. I have the Fighting Illini upsetting Michigan, taking this one 23-20. But it's going to be an interesting game because both teams want to run the same style of play. They both want to dominate the line of scrimmage for 4 quarters. The next potential upset game is the SEC one at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Number 8 LSU 5-1. Welcome to the top 10. Versus 4-2 Arkansas, a team that should probably be ranked right now. Do not sleep on Sam Pittman's team. He has Bobby Petrino calling plays, and they are dialing some stuff up. Right now, this game is practically a 50-50. You have LSU. They have a 54.2% chance to win this game. They are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 55.5. Both of these teams can score. For LSU, they average 34.2. one of the best passing teams in the nation. They throw for 341. They run for 123.3. And solid defense under Blake Baker, giving up 22.3. Much improved over last year. They have Nussmeier closing on 2,000 yards. He has 18 touchdowns, 6 picks. They have weapons. They have Durham. They have Lacey. They can move the ball, but Arkansas can move it with you. They average 33 points a game. They throw for 301.3. They run for 199.5. They're averaging 500 yards a game in SEC play. Great physical defense this season, giving up 19.2. They have Green at the quarterback position. He is banged up, but he's supposed to play this game. His biggest issue, turnovers. Keep the turnovers down, but Green can pass. He can run. Jackson closing in on 600 yards on the ground. Armstrong closing in on 600 yards through the air. This is a multiple-faceted team. Bobby Petrino is calling plays. They play physical defense. The upset is flashing here potentially. I have LSU ultimately winning it in a shootout, 34-28. But this is one of those games where the favored team, the Tigers, needs to be on upset alert. If the Razorbacks get the ball last, they might take this one. This next game is a fun one. 7:30 p.m. on Fox. Number 17, Kansas State, 5-1 versus 3-3 West Virginia. The reason Kansas State needs to be on upset alert here is West Virginia is much better than the 3-3 record. Do not let that fool you. Neil Brown has a decent squad here. Right now, Kansas State, 56.6% chance to win this game. They are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 55.5. But they've been on a long road streak. Tough one here. They are coming off of beating Colorado in Buffalo last Saturday night. They're wore out. They've been on the road for a while. Perhaps that catches up with them here. Right now, they come into this game, they're averaging 31.3. They throw for 200. They run for 241. Their defense gives up 21 points a game. But it's their secondary. They give up 295.7 passing yards per game. That is pathetic. Almost 300 passing yards to the average team. But they shut the run down. They only give up 71.7 on the ground. It's very flip-floppy here. You can throw on them all day long. There will always be guys wide open, but you cannot run on Kansas State. So West Virginia has to attack them vertically through the air. West Virginia, they average 30.2. They pass for 222.7. That will be their main weapon this weekend. They run for 212.5, and their defense gives up 26. They have Green. They have White. They have Clement. Kansas State, they have Avery Johnson. When he's on, he can hit the passes, but he's a mobile quarterback who runs with purpose. And they have DJ Giddens closing in on 800 yards through the first 6 games. He's a top 5 running back. And Brown at wide receiver makes the big catches in the big moments. I have Kansas State ultimately winning this one, 28-24, but the upset potential is there. Long road streak, getting tired. West Virginia, much better than their record, and they're in West Virginia, so watch out for this one. And our final upset alert game, the big one, ABC 7:30 p.m., number 5 Georgia Bulldogs 5-1 versus number 1 Texas Longhorns undefeated 6-0. Right now, Texas heavy favorites, and the line keeps moving up. They have a 76.2% chance to win this game, 5-point favorites. Over-under here is 56.5. When you're looking at this matchup, almost no one right now is giving Georgia a chance to win this game. That's why there's the potential upset alert here. Georgia, they average 33.5. They pass for 326, but it's the run game, 134 yards per game. That's not going to cut it. That's not good enough for SEC play. That used to be Georgia's strength, was their offensive line, their rushing game. They need to get that number up to about 170 to 190 right now to have a chance in conference play. If they drop this one to Texas, that's their second conference loss. They're probably out of the running for the SEC championship, and their defense is giving up 17.2 points a game. That's not bad for your average team, but every Kirby Smart team has been sub 15. They got to get the defense right. Texas, they're averaging 43.2. They have a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They throw for 311.3. They run for 189. They're averaging 500 yards of offense every game. Elite top 10, top 5 defense, giving up 6.3 points per game. They give up less than 250 yards every single game on defense. Everything is setting up right now for Texas to cruise through this game. That's where the upset potential lies. Right now, Texas heavy favorites. No one giving Georgia a shot. They have Carson Beck. They cannot run the ball. They're leading rushers on pace for 670 rushing yards this season. That is pathetic for a team that has the number 2 overall roster. Right now, Texas has the number 4. Everyone's counting Georgia out, thus the upset alert. Kirby Smart's been around. The guy knows how to coach. This team is so talented. You don't want to sleep on them. They showed when they played Bama second half. When they need to, they can light it up. they can score. Perhaps that's the way they show up this game, but this game is in Austin. Everything's leaning to Texas. Thus, you have to expect a great play from Georgia. So what do I have? I have Texas cruising here. I have Texas winning this one 34-23. Texas attacking Georgia the same way they attacked Bama in Tuscaloosa last season. Vertical, deep passes. Right off the bat, we're going deep. We have Wisner. Bond should be healthy. Quinn Ewers should be back. Should be a lot less rusty than last week. I have that being the difference maker. Texas is too good. Seems like they should win this game. But that's why there's the upset game, because if they dropped it, I wouldn't be surprised. They're so favored, something fishy seems like it is going on, but I'm still going with Texas as of right now. So that's our potential upset alert games that stood out to me for our top 25 matchups for Week 8. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments on these games or anything else, drop it below and I will respond. Thank you.